Hey, welcome to Milk and Cookies Conversations Off the Court with Humboldt Creamery. I'm Lawrence Scott. He's David Kelly, the Warriors' General Counsel and Vice President of Basketball Management Strategy. And this involves the salary cap. This involves some of the legal matters as it relates to basketball. But what is that exactly?
Well, I mean, it can be salary cap, it can be luxury tax planning, financial planning on the basketball side. It can be discussing various trade ideas with Bob and Kirk and Joe and Larry. It can involve a little bit of scouting, very little. So it's a pretty broad, runs the gamut on the basketball side.
So at Summer League, I stepped into the sports business classroom and heard from this guy, Larry Kuhn, who's running this seminar, and he does the CBA FAQ, and folks really follow this and get really deep into it. You're doing this on a professional level and like planning out what the team will be doing into the future. Without going into like specific details, what is the essence of this, and what are you looking at 2, 3, 4 years down the line?
Well, I mean, you're looking at the players that you have, the players that you want to retain, what sort of strategies you have in order to retain those players, what your salary and tax are going to look like for your team for retaining the players that we have. You're looking at what your draft picks look like, what the cap holds are for your draft picks, what certain exceptions that you can use to the salary cap in order to retain players or to get new players. So it's all of those things for your team, and then you're looking at the same thing for the 29 other teams as well to see what sort of competitive advantage you can derive. One
of the most awesome things about being part of this organization, it came out in the playoffs a couple of years ago. You were in the music industry, and you did this very, very early, and I saw you on the big screen doing a rap and then a video for that year's playoffs. I'm like, this guy's amazing. And then I come to, no, that's Cap D. He's capital D, grew up in Chicago. Your music background, where did it start? Where have you taken it? I'm digging into cookies. Why don't you explain?
Well, it started back in high school. My friend Tony Fields and I, we had a group called All Natural. So he was the DJ, I was the MC. We did just underground hip hop music. Then graduated from Morehouse College. We started our own label. So we would tour around the Midwest, some shows in the West, a lot of shows on the East Coast and then overseas in Europe as well. Put out our own records and probably put out about 10 records as a group or as a solo artist. And then other people on our label, we probably put out about like 40 to 50 different projects.
When you see how hip-hop, rap, and music in general is so intertwined in what we do as basketball and entertainment and what we will do at Chase Center, do you think that some of this will come back into some of the things you're doing with the organization?
Yeah, no, I think it's on the legal side, I have to negotiate contracts with artists or with agents and understand what the demands, what the interests are of the artists. So I'm sure some of that transfers to my current job, just being able to see things from a different perspective.
So when you think of what it is to have gone to Morehouse, a huge tradition there in Atlanta where, I mean, Spike Lee, Samuel L. Jackson, and that's in the entertainment field.
A guy named Martin Luther King.
And this is sort of a legacy that's important to pass along. With the team, in the month of February, we always celebrate Black History Month, but the historical Black colleges and universities really hold a special place in our country. For you, what did going to Morehouse help you as a basis to then what you took to, getting a law degree later?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of cliche, but going to Morehouse changed my life. It was time I was around all Black men doing something extremely positive. Everyone there is trying to better themselves. The teachers are there trying to help you better themselves. It's the only, in my mind, the only environment in which you will have an all Black male environment that is striving towards that as an institution in the world. And so it was phenomenal. I didn't want to leave. My father reminded me I should have left a couple years before I actually did leave.
Busy with hip hop.
Yeah, I was having a good time. But no, it was a great experience. I wouldn't trade for anything.
Growing up in Chicago, you ended up at Illinois in law school there. When you think of what law school helped provide for what you do now, like, I mean, it's kind of obvious you didn't have the legal background, but there's sort of like this ability to be analytical and stuff that you almost like learn in a law school environment?
Well, yeah, so at law school, it teaches you how to think, teaches you how to process information. There's a process that you have to go through in order to analyze various different sides of an argument, understand it from your perspective, from the other perspective, and then figure out a way to get a deal done that makes sense for your side and for the other side. And law school teaches you that. So it's part of just learning how to negotiate and understand and analyze information.
Okay, back to hip hop, and we'll wrap things up here on Milk and Cookies Conversations off the court. And it's been awesome to talk with David Kelly. But now putting back on the Cap D hat, tell me, Mount Rushmore of hip hop.
Rakim, KRS-One, Nas, and Black Thought.
And if you had to explain to somebody who had never heard Cap D before what they can expect and the vibe that they can expect and what they can hopefully take away from it, what would you want them to know that is?
Poetic, kind of true school hip hop, but not trying to sound old and dated, but just true to the foundation of what I think hip hop is, which is just poetry in a different form.
And still putting out tracks, and it's great stuff. And I can't thank you enough for being here for Milk and Cookies Conversations off the court with Humboldt Creamery.